Kevin Turner or KT or whatever. Jared Sandler right there. Jared Sandler right over there. And right now the Cowboys are beating up on the Rams 31-7. This is coming a week after a lot of Cowboy fans were going, just lose and tank. Don't even try to make the playoffs. The Cowboys are kicking full butt right now. In fact, we should tell you that this is brought to you by MyBookie.ag, where if you use their promo code FanCred, they'll double your deposit. And the line right now is 21.5. And I'm telling you that before the Kai Forbath field goal that was made just now. So that makes it Cowboys 34, Rams 7. Jared, things are looking pretty good today. I really don't know what to think about this team at all anymore. And I'm almost done trying to figure it out and predict it. But overall, 2 thumbs up, man.
Yeah, but isn't this like the most Cowboys thing ever? And they go out, they play a team that's playing really well that basically has to win to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they just absolutely dominate them. Right when we think that like everything is coming to an end. I mean, I listened to people talk about this game. You know, the conversation was, I just don't see any way the Cowboys win. Like, I don't know what they can do. I don't see it. I don't, blah, blah, blah. And I was among them. I'm not pointing fingers. But and then they go and they've dominated this game. But that's the most Cowboys thing ever. And then, it all sets up to next week or for next week. Next week's that's the big one. And I guess it'll be interesting, the narrative leading up to this coming weekend's game against the Eagles team that almost lost, needed a late second or last minute drive to beat the lowly Redskins.
Yeah, I want to let everyone know that you can join us in the chat box as well. We'll be reading your comments throughout the fourth quarter. And also, if you want to join us on the fan line, it's the green button. You just hit that. We'll get you set up, and you can pop on with us if you'd like. And again, brought to you by MyBookie.ag. The promo code is FanCred, where they will double your deposit. It's 34-7. I do like there's been a couple things that, like with this losing streak, the Cowboys got behind and had to throw a lot. They actually ran the ball pretty well. I know listening to the TV broadcast, Joe brought up the stat that Zeke had rushed for 100 yards in 5 games for the first time in his career. But, man, they got behind in most of those games to where you were just trying to play catch-up. Back to kind of the Cowboys style of they have to get ahead. Because if they're ahead, it just allows them to do so much with the play action and everything else. I'm surprised that they got ahead by that much. I'm surprised that the defense showed up today. I don't know how much it has to do with Jared Goff's thumb, but Antoine Woods made some plays on the defensive line, if you haven't seen. And then the Rams' first series, he had 2 big stops on Todd Gurley. So, like, the fact that the defense played well, but the Cowboys being ahead makes such a difference with the way they play because it allows them to get Zeke going and all those types of things.
Yeah, and it's interesting the way they've kind of attacked the Rams. And you're right. I mean, I think the ability to do so from ahead, changes the I don't know, just changes the way they're able to do things. It seems like it changes their comfort level on how they do things. And I don't know. I get, easy for the, 2 guys on their couch to say, well, it shouldn't change your comfort level. Regardless, you should attack early on the way you feel like you should attack. But it does seem like the early leads and getting out in front just makes them a little more free with the way they go about things.
So the Cowboys now leading by 27, if I got the math right, 34-7. The MyBookie line right now at MyBookie.ag is 23.5. Cowboys by 23.5. So up by 27 and getting the ball now. So if you're going to get some action, MyBookie.ag, use the promo code FanCred. They'll double your deposit. That's always a good thing to do. Shelby says, I hate we are this way as a team coming into this game. I was on the side that we were going to lose. This sucks. We are so inconsistent. Great game so far. I think that's kind of every Cowboy fan. Like, they're just kind of tired. They want to know what their team is.
Yeah.
But man, I don't think it's terribly different than the other teams in the NFL. Do you think Rams fans want to know what their team is? They don't have a clue.
Absolutely.
Eagles fans know what their team is. They don't have a clue. Right now, the 49ers are farting around the field at home with the Falcons. Like, there's just a lot of inconsistency in this league when they only play 16 games and you can micromanage every single game. So that's why I kind of go, yeah. I mean, I didn't think they were going to win today, but I didn't think they were going to blow them out. But I'm not surprised by any of this. I'm just
listen. They're Cowboys going to Cowboy, right?
Yeah. No, and I think you should get that tattoo.
Cowboys going to Cowboy.
Cowboys going to Cowboy.
Where would you like that tattoo?
We'll let the listeners vote on that.
Okay.
I don't have a personal preference.
Yeah.
Another team, the Cowboys kind of in a way remind me, well, there's a lot of teams that remind me of. The Rams are kind of a team that remind me of a little bit just because the Rams are sitting there going, what happened to our defense? Why does all of a sudden our offense click for 2 weeks and then die for a week? Like, and I understand all that stuff, but I was like, you got to flip around and watch a little bit of the Eagles today. The Eagles escaped the Redskins, but they don't look good doing it. Like, the Eagles didn't play good. So I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles next week. A lot of people that were saying, the Cowboys are just going to get trucked. When they go in the playoffs, they're just going to get trucked in the first round. I don't know, because to make the playoffs, they were going to have to win a game and get the momentum going anyways.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time just going, well, if they make the playoffs, they're just going to lose. Well, no, you're just saying that because they lost 3 in a row. Like, if you felt – I guess this is my challenge to all fans. However you felt a month ago shouldn't be that different than the way you feel about this team right now. And I know 3 losses can change things, but it's kind of what they are right here. Hovering 8-8, it's kind of what they are. So, I don't know. I feel pretty good about it today. I think they'll beat the Eagles. I think they can go beat someone in the playoffs. But
listen, it's not like the Eagles are doing anything. It would be really interesting what the dialogue would be if the Eagles were playing well. And I know that they won today, but I mean, they beat, again, the Redskins, and they needed a lot of help doing it. So I think that the narrative and the talk is going to be, I guess the only thing the Eagles really have going for them, 2 things. 1, it's in Philadelphia, and 2, it's just the fear of, hey, if the Cowboys lose this game, then they're no longer necessarily in the driver's seat. But like, what have the Eagles done? As much as the Cowboys have produced, magnificent amounts of frustration, what have the Eagles done that make you think, oh yeah, they're a scary team?
The Eagles have one big win this year, and that would be the Packers.
Yep.
And a game with the Packers should have won, but they farted around on the goal line. So
lots of farting.
Red zone alert. The 49ers just punched one in to make it 20-10 up in San Francisco as they finally are kind of putting it on the Falcons. We kind of knew that would start to happen. So there's that. Cowboys leading 34-7, 12:30 left in the game. And just kind of milking it. I don't think you're going to see them get terribly aggressive. I mean, it's 3rd and 2 here. But it's quite clear that Jared Goff's thumb is a problem and has hurt them. I mean, you could see that from a mile away. The Rams were a team who I thought had kind of figured it out, though. I thought their offense was going to give the Cowboys a lot of problems today. Because there's Tony Pollard showing. The Cowboys, I do want to say this real quick, too. I know I'm kind of rambling and going in a lot of different directions. It's good to see that they let Tony Pollard and Blake Jarwin be a big part of the offense today. And if you want to throw in Tavon Austin, you can, because I think Tavon Austin forces them to get creative sometimes. But those are 3 guys who are just sometimes go absent for weeks at a time, and we're all heavily involved today. And I think that's been good to see.
It's funny. It's like I haven't given this much thought since 10 seconds ago, I guess, when you said this. So it's probably a stupid thing to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Tavon Austin thing, it's almost like those cooking shows where they're like, you've got this ingredient, that ingredient, and this ingredient, and you have to use these. No matter what, you got to incorporate it. And like, it like forces these chefs to like stretch their creativity in their mind. It is interesting. Not that I think this happens, but like if you were to go to Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett and say, you need Tavon Austin, he's got to get 3 touches. He has to. So think about how you want to use those 3 touches. But if you don't get him 3 touches, then you get disqualified from the game. Not that like happens, but like it's almost like by challenging this coaching staff to use these pieces, it does force them to get creative, and I imagine it opens other things up as well.
No, and I think it does. I think we saw this with like even if it's little things like motion and pre-snap stuff. But today we saw the offensive line get back on track. And again, the Rams have not been some like killer defense. I'm not trying to make that out to be a big thing, but like that's something that to see the Cowboys go do that. Also, and this is what the Cowboys needed because their unit now with Suafilo in there for Connor Williams. You're not getting Connor Williams back. Getting a few games under themselves together there's the 5 that we're going with. And then to run the ball effectively is huge because they just haven't had a chance to in those 3 games the last 3 games they lost because they got behind so bad. Couple comments I want to read from the comment box. I want everyone to hop in on this. Let's see here. Jacob says, "I bet on the Rams. Will you reimburse my losses?" I bet on the Rams too. So tough. Shelby says, "Okay, but what you do there, Jacob, is you just go to mybookie.ag." and use the fan cred as the promo code.
Hey, honestly, is this not the best way to gamble? When you lose, just start gambling more because you're going to get that one bet that's going to just make it all up. You're not going to dig any holes, so just keep gambling.
Just keep gambling. And again, I want to remind you can hang out with us live. Just press the green fan line button. It's in the bottom right corner of your screen. Hit that, and you can join Jared and I live and show us your face and tell us what you're thinking. Shelby, again, KT, would you be in on us signing Janoris Jenkins? I don't really think Janoris Jenkins has much left in the tank, to be honest. I know it's a fun name, the Jack, but I personally, it doesn't really have anything to do with his comment the other day, which I disagreed with, obviously, and thought it was pretty ignorant of him to do that. But I don't really have interest in a guy at that age, this late in the season, who is not playing well. Like, Terrell Suggs still has something. I don't know if he fits the 4-3, but any contender or playoff team should try to go claim Terrell Suggs. Okay, that's interesting that the Titans were trying to get in on that. Like, yeah, he could help you probably.
Yeah.
What do you think about the whole coin toss thing, Jared? What was your thoughts on all that, man?
Okay, so help me out. I want to make sure I totally consume that properly. So Dak initially said defer. But then
the league office said we'll defer and we'll kick.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean the first thing he said was we'll defer. If the ref heard that, he should wait, you should be able to clarify. It obviously didn't end up making a big difference, but it's one of those, it's not quite a Jerome Bettis Thanksgiving thing, but you're going to kick anyway. But I guess, what it does do is it prevents you from choosing, what side you want.
Yeah, stories like that, though, while this one's interesting and very curious, that's another thing where the league has got to get the officials to buy in on things. Stay out of stories that are going to kind of make us look bad. So that ref's got to make it clear, don't let it be a story.
Yeah.
I don't – and I could be wrong just because it's hard to hear all that. But, I don't think the Rams are freaking out and saying, oh, well, he said that. So, I think it was just a ref going out of his way to – the refs have got to stop trying to be so perfect and think about the quality of getting it right.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But apparently you have to use the word defer, but defer technically means you're just letting the other team choose.
Right. So kicking means that the other team gets to then choose what side, they want to defend or score towards. But when you defer, you basically get what you want, and then you get to choose the side as well.
Yeah.
And in theory, technically, I don't know why this would ever happen, but I guess technically, if I deferred to you, you could choose to kick, and I could receive both halves because you're deferring your decision to the second half.
But that's kind of what was happening.
Yeah.
But, like, that type of stuff is so annoying to me. It's like that's kind of an unnecessary thing that they should be talking about. And then you have both teams. I don't know. It sounded like the teams didn't know until halftime, which I'm thinking the Rams might have been trying to like call a timeout after the Sean Lee interception to get the ball back. Kai Forbath is on again for another field goal. We'll see if he's good.
We have him in fantasy.
Yeah, he's down the middle of the pipe, 37-7 now, 3 for 3 for Forbath. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. Cedric says the DB's technique looked a lot better today. A lot of heads around looking for the ball. I think there's two things to that. One, I hope you're right, and that's something that's happening. Two, I think Goff has just been really bad today. I mean, he's just been very inaccurate, and there's been a lot of throws that aren't close. So if there's a lot of throws that aren't close, then you find yourself having time to look around and look for the ball. So that's a good day in coverage. I worry about linebacker injuries, and Sean Lee's ended up having a good game. But I worried about with the injuries at linebacker, the Rams are going to be doing a lot of play action and a lot of crossers over the middle of the field, things like that. But because the Rams weren't really able to get anything going on the run early on, they weren't able to work a lot of play action and things like that. So that's been huge, in my opinion, for the Cowboys defense. Kind of one of the bigger themes of the game, if you ask me.
Yep. No, I would agree. So, you kind of touched on this a second ago. Big picture here. You asked or you presented the idea that, some people wanted the Cowboys to lose out because what's the point of going to the playoffs and getting your butt kicked? And, I would say, in football, like in the NBA, you can make an argument, what's the point of being an 8 seed if you're just going to get railed by the 1 seed? But in football, it's different. It's one game, and you can certainly do. You can end up making a run that people don't expect you to make. I guess my question is, if you have any more confidence after tonight's game that the Cowboys could win a game or go on a run, or is this just the typical volatile NFL 16 game up and down type of feel, and that the Cowboys are who they are, and we shouldn't let 1 week 15 game change our minds?
I tend to think it's the last part what you said. It's just the volatile NFL. But there's a couple things. That would be a home playoff game, and that was my confusion with fans going, "We should just lose. We don't have a chance." I was like, "But aren't you going to be at home watching that game on Saturday night or Sunday afternoon? Like you're going to be there pulling for it anyways. You might as well pull for your team than watch the Eagles play in a playoff game, right?" So I don't know. Like, that's kind of how I feel about that. I felt like the fact that because it's a division thing, because you would be getting a home playoff game, because Seattle plays a style of football, and Seattle's very good, and I think Seattle's better than us right now. But Seattle plays a style that it really is all about getting ahead. And if they don't do that, you can beat them like you did last year in the playoffs. I think Minnesota, we've seen and played them. I think that's a team we can beat, right? So things like that. You start talking about.
Well, sorry, Katie, I don't mean to cut you off. Do you know Dalvin Cook? Is there an update on his status? Because, that could totally change that landscape.
I have not seen the status update on Dalvin Cook. Let me
see if I can find that.
They will host the Packers next Monday night, pretty much for the NFC North. The Vikings got the win today. They crushed the Chargers in L.A. to go to 10-4. The Packers escaped the Bears to go to 11-3. I think the Cowboys could beat the Packers. I know a lot of people are going to roll their eyes. I think the Packers are a very beatable team if
Absolutely.
they had here. But now I don't know in this stadium. I know we've still all the Aaron Rodgers stuff and all that stuff, but it's a very beatable team. I do think everyone in the NFC is quite a bit behind San Francisco and New Orleans. I do think the Seahawks could go pull off a miracle victory. But I do think last week we saw the class of the NFC, the 49ers and Saints. But those are two teams who may not get a bye. You know, I mean, then San Francisco is going to end up squeaking past. As I say that, Atlanta just punched in a touchdown to make it 19 to 16. So, you know, that's still a one-score game with 6 minutes left. But, like, I do think San Francisco will probably end up sneaking through and getting a bye. New Orleans, we'll see. Because the Packers have 3 losses as well, and that Minnesota game will mean something. But Cowboys and Eagles are playing for the 4 seed next week. And you're going to get out of this thing relatively healthy. Joe Thomas went down for a little bit, but other than that, you know, I don't know. They're showing on my screen right now, it's 37-7 with 5:30 left. They're showing Van Der Esch. You know, I don't know about you, Jared. I've heard some things that Van Der Esch might be done. Like, they're not very confident that he'll play again this year. But
dude, yes, and I still wouldn't even rule out that. I'm not saying it's a likelihood, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility that he's done for good. I happened to strike random conversation with a spinal doctor recently, and he's like, "Hey, I mean, they should be able to like get him ready to go for next year, but like, there's a chance that this ends up being more severe than that."
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal, man. 5 minutes left in the game, 37-7. Again, brought to you by MyBookie.ag. The promo code's FanCred, where they will double your deposit. Got some questions in the comment box. Jake says, am I crazy, or is that late motion in the backfield something new? It's not brand new. That's the kind of one bone to pick I have with the Cowboys offense is that you will see it, and then it will disappear for a month, and then it comes back. Yeah. I think about the Eagles game on Sunday night. If you remember, that was the tornado night here in the DFW, but that touchdown with the motion from Tavon Austin into the backfield, and then Dak pitched it to him. And it's like, okay, where's that been? Not the same play, but that motion concept. You hadn't seen any of that. And then it's all of a sudden back today when they need it most. So I don't know if it's a thing where they're saving some stuff. I really don't know. I mean, all in all, today's game kind of mattered, but didn't totally matter because next week's game is what really matters. And I'm saying this as an idiot who was telling everyone, hey, man, maybe the Cowboys should rest their players and just get ready for the Eagles because that's the real game that matters. So, Cedric, can we get more Jarwin? I mean, I know that Jared and I and many Cowboys fans out there have been calling for more Jarwin, less Witten. Not to be a shot at Witten or anything. Witten had a huge touchdown catch today. But more Jarwin would be huge because Jarwin just has the run after catch ability. I've got the stats pulled up right here, Jared. Blake Jarwin today, I have 2 catches for 40 yards. Okay, well, that's 20 yards a catch. It was a 20-yard and 19-yard catch. And they were all plays where he was able to create after he made the catch. So very huge that stuff's happening. Rams 4th and 3, 4:30 left. There's a flag on the play. So we'll see. They're kind of driving. Cowboys also got a couple turnovers today, man. The Sean Lee interception was huge, man.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, that 21-7, 28-7, such a big difference in how we feel about that game. Just because, you know, who knows? Maybe the Rams drive down and score. It's a one-score game. So there's a lot going on there.
Well, and then if you think about it, like, so gets the interception, runs it back to where, like, they're definitely getting points. The Cowboys are getting the ball in the second half. I mean, that almost felt – so it had a material impact on the scoreboard. It also felt incredibly deflating. I'd imagine it'd be incredibly deflating for the Rams because they go down even if they get a field goal that drive or if they don't score at all, 21-7 going into the half. You know, you can live with that. You can get back. But there almost felt like air that was, you know, taken from the Rams balloon with that interception.
Rob has a question. Did it look like the run game was using more man blocking versus zone early in the game? I don't – I mean, you have to check the tape to, like, see that for sure. But I do think that could be very possible because with Aaron Donald, trying to use a zone blocking scheme is really not a smart thing to do because he's just so quick and can shoot gaps. The Cowboys did a great job neutralizing Aaron Donald. So
what sort of an impact did Aaron Donald make tonight?
I mean, very little of an impact. And you know what?
Right.
Travis is a guy who's not had a great year overall. And I thought Travis was really good. And some of the plays. Again, you need to watch the whole tape and all that stuff to really know and know what their assignments were. But I think that's a good observation, Rob. I think they were, because I think that's the best way to neutralize Aaron Donald is to directly hit him. I don't think you can do a lot of that zone stuff that you want to do where everyone's moving one step to the right and going that direction, because he's just too quick and he'll blow that stuff up. So I think that's a very interesting observation. 25.5 is the line over at MyBookie right now. It's a 30-point game. The Rams are inside the 10, so I don't know how I feel about those odds right there. But, again, the promo code's FanCred at mybookie.ag, where that will double your deposit.
Hey, can I ask you a random big picture question?
Please do.
Is Jared Goff a top 14 quarterback in the NFL? Is he a top 16?
Okay, now
I'm not a big Goff guy, so I'm asking that with that slant. I think he's a fine quarterback. I don't think he's bad. You can obviously get to a Super Bowl, and frankly, you can win a Super Bowl with him. But there's nothing about Jared Goff that's like, man, that guy's a stud, and they paid that man. I think he's okay. I think that he's like a lot of quarterbacks where if he's not disrupted, he can make the throws. But there's nothing about him that makes me think, wow, I want to build my team around him.
Who would you rather have out of these playoff teams? I'm going off the current NFC playoff picture. Garoppolo, Rodgers, Drew Brees. Obviously, Goff's not going to be in that conversation. Russell Wilson, assuming the Seahawks get a wild card. And then we'll say Dak and the Cowboys get in as the 4. You'd rather have Dak than Goff.
Yep.
That's a no-brainer. And then you start looking at who the 6th seed might be. It could be Minnesota. Maybe the Rams are trying to and have a chance at that. But Minnesota now 10-4, and we'll see. The 6th seed's probably going to be either Minnesota or Green Bay, whoever wins the North. This is how that's going to end up being. You'd rather Kirk Cousins over Goff?
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, I think I'd probably take Cousins now, but, I think
that's tough for you. I know that's not an easy thing for you to say.
Would you have Goff than Wentz?
So I was actually thinking about that as you were listing the teams. I think Goff is safer than Wentz. I think Goff's teammates like him.
Yeah.
I'd probably take Goff over Wentz, but it's not definitive. And I feel similarly about Garoppolo. I'll give Garoppolo a little bit of an edge. I'm not like totally in on like Jimmy G is a stud in the making by any means. I think he's fine. I think, listen, I thought Jared Goff was better last year than Jimmy G has been this year.
Yeah, I agree. Where I'm at on Goff is Goff needs he needs compliments. Every quarterback needs complimentary football, but he really does need a running game to really help him thrive. If the running game's getting stopped and you're putting it all on him, it becomes an issue because he does not handle pressure well. And when defenses know that you're going to be throwing and they can set up some blitzes and they can attack you from different areas. And also Goff's offensive line has been garbage, because of injury more than anything. So I give Goff a little bit of a free pass.
And they talked about it too.
Yes, I will answer your question. I do think he's a top 14 quarterback in the league. I absolutely do think that.
Do you want to quickly try that? Can I run through and see?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
and we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers is out of that conversation now.
Yeah, so would you take – okay, here's an interesting one. Would you rather have – if you're the Patriots, would you rather have Tom Brady or Jared Goff?
Tom Brady.
Okay. I with the way things have been going, thought I'd ask. Sure. Would you rather have Josh Allen?
Tom doesn't have anything.
Yeah, no,
I know. It's like Tom's been missing throws for years.
But Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, or Jared Goff?
Goff.
Over both of those guys?
Yeah, and not close.
Okay.
Not close at all.
Lamar, obviously, you're definitely taking Duck Hodges over Goff. Who's not going to take Duck Hodges?
Hodges, no.
No, I know.
That's the weirdest
Baker,
quarterback story.
Baker or Goff? I take Baker.
That's a good one now. You know what? The difference is going to be that Baker can create some things, and Goff can't.
Yeah.
I mean, Goff can't create on his own.
Who's more of a crap head?
In this league, you have to create. So, yeah, Baker, long term.
Right, so Brady.
Kyler,
yeah, I take Kyler as well. Right, just going to AFC. We got Brady. So you're going to take Goff over Allen. I agree. I'm not sure I'd take Goff over Darnold, but I'll give that to you. I'm not going to break up Fitzpatrick. Lamar Jackson, Baker, Deshaun, Tannehill or Goff?
Goff.
Okay.
Tannehill thing ain't real.
Jacoby Brissett.
Goff. Watch Jacoby tomorrow night.
What?
Watch Jacoby tomorrow night against the Saints.
All right.
Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is a very capable. I would love. God, he would be the best backup quarterback in football. You know?
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Like they're not going. The Colts are not going with the great. Are not going anywhere with Jacoby Brissett.
Mahomes, Derek Carr, or Jared Goff?
Goff. Goff's been bad today, man, but his thumb is jacked up.
No, I get it. He hasn't been great this year.
No, he's had a bad year. I mean, that whole thing's been bad though.
Who do you go? Wentz? I don't remember what you said. Wentz?
I think it's really bad, and maybe it's their own problem. I think it's really bad when there's multiple reports that your pass catchers don't like you.
You're right. Yeah, I would agree.
I think that's
all right. So I'll.
But I would.
You go Goff over Daniel Jones, I assume.
Because you break it all out. You know what? Wentz is going to get hurt again too. Give me Goff.
Okay. You go Goff over Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
Not over Dak, though?
No.
Okay, so that's 6. Rodgers, 7. Cousins, 8. Matt Stafford over Goff?
I think you got to go with Goff now.
Ooh, I disagree. But, all right, that's your list. 8. Breeze, Jameis?
Goff.
Man, you're just giving every benefit of the doubt to Goff.
Well –
Matt Ryan.
I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. Matt Ryan still got something.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'll take back the Stafford thing. I'll give you Stafford.
Okay, you still have him probably 12th or 13th best.
Yeah. That's where he is.
With some 50-50s in the mix.
And you know who else? Wentz is there in that area, and Dak to me is like 10 or 11. Like that's kind of where they are. And maybe Dak's a little higher. Maybe he can be higher, you know. But we'll hey, the 49ers did kick a field goal. They lead 22-17, but the Falcons will have the ball at their own 30 with 1:40 left. They're reviewing to see if the Rams got this onside kick or not in a game that is really kind of out of here. I want to read this comment from Tommy. I thought this was a good one, Jared. He says, what was the difference in the run defense? Does Woods make that big of a difference? I actually think he does. I'm not sitting here going sign Antoine Woods to a long-term contract. I do think he's just a rotational, like just a guy. But the thing that you quickly noticed today on their first Rams drive, where there were 2 runs in which Antoine Woods made a play out of his box, out of his little area. He's got range as a defensive tackle, the one technique defensive tackle in this scheme. And you don't see a lot of those guys making plays laterally. He can do that. So I think Antoine Woods is a big helper. Just to have another body to kind of help corral the run and who can play laterally. They don't have a lot of guys who can do that. So I do think he is, not a big time difference maker, but he helps. It helps having him. And we saw that early on in this game. Cooper Rush is on the field, Jared. Looks like Cooper Rush is going to get some action. So good for my fantasy chances against Shippy, who has Dak at quarterback.
Ooh, are you winning that one?
No, I got a lot of catching up to do. I got Jack Doyle and Michael Thomas tomorrow night, though, so that could be good.
Jack Doyle's good for like 7 catches.
Well, he's got that Brissett guy playing quarterback, so that could be a problem.
Loves the tight end.
Brissett's fine. You know, he
loves to keep it tight.
Brian Hoyer.
Is that a big measuring stick game tomorrow night?
It's always a measuring stick game. Every game in this league, because there's so few games, is a
This one was a big. Would you say it was this big? Can you hold up your hand so we can do a joint measuring stick? How big? Let's go. How? No. Here's my hand. Now I need. Where's?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, it's getting smaller. Oh, it's not very big measuring stick.
No, because next week you got to beat the Eagles. This game never mattered.
Oh, is that?
It did, you know what? This game did matter to the Rams, though, because they are trying to fart around and try to get to the 6th seed.
Yeah.
I want to give you a little red zone update here, Jared. The Falcons,
Tony Pollard.
The Falcons are inside the 49ers' 30-yard line with a minute left and 1 timeout, trailing by 5.
Hey, I've got a red zone update because Tony Pollard just ran through the red zone. Is Tony Pollard the greatest running back in Cowboys history?
Well, he's having a great day.
I think it might be.
Let me see if I can get the numbers. Hold on, man. Matt Ryan's doing stuff. I know we're supposed to be focused on Matt Ryan just scrambled for 8. There's 35 seconds left in San Francisco. So helping you out there. Pollard having a big old day. The whole run. I mean, the offensive line was great today, man. Dak was protected the whole game. He didn't face a lot of pressure. And this is why they're dangerous. Because they can beat you in multiple ways, man. And this is why I just disagreed with how many fans were saying it doesn't matter, you're going to get trucked in the playoffs. I don't necessarily think that's true. So touchdown for Pollard makes it 43-15. I mean, this is a good old-fashioned ass kicking. And this is the things that start to make you feel good. Now, I don't want the fans worrying about Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's gone. Don't worry about that. He will be gone. 44-15 the score now. So don't worry about Jason. Jason Garrett's going to get fired. I thought it was interesting that Urban Meyer was at the Redskins game today. Put a little pressure on the Cowboys to maybe show some real interest maybe? Or was he just hanging out? What do you think?
Is that a leverage play for Urban Meyer?
Absolutely it is.
How about Urban Meyer?
He calls up his boy Alex Smith and says, "Man, I'd love to sit in the suite with you, man. Think you can do that?" Absolutely, no problem.
How about Urban Meyer basically admitting that, or like the reports are that he knows that he can't stay in the college game, that he's so poorly viewed in the college game that he can't. He's got to go to the NFL. That's kind of funny.
It is very funny.
Almost as funny as the Cowboys kicking game. Well,
their kicking game is better now because they got Kai Forbath, who got his name because growing up, his parents made him take 4 baths a day.
Yeah. Only he's good at the field goal part, not good at the other part.
Jared, NFC playoff picture update.
Hold on. Breaking news. Dun, 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 dun.
The Falcons are down to the 5-yard line, 15 seconds left in that game.
They
don't have timeouts, so Matt Ryan taking sacks is going to be horrible. 8 seconds left. It'll be 2nd and goal. Kai Forbath rocking a pretty sweet beard, though, right? Give him that credit. I thought that Urban Meyer stuff, though, I thought that confirmed that he wants to be in the NFL. Like, I thought it was just like –
yeah, I agree.
Like, not that it might not have been a question for anyone, but – hey, we've got Jeff who's ready to join us on the fan line. Remember, you can join us on the bottom, the green button on the bottom right of your screen. You can join us on the fan line.
Let's bring Jeff on, but this is a big play. Falcons at the whatever yard line. Jeff's going to be here for a possible big upset in the NFC.
This opens up.
Did he catch it? Did he? Oh, they're saying Austin Hooper just got a touchdown to basically win the game.
Okay, Jared's seeing this way before I am. Let's go to Jeff K. Hello, Jeff K. How you feeling?
What's up, Jeff? Sorry, Jeff.
What is going on, fellas?
Feeling better today?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's always nice to call in on a Cowboy dub.
Yeah, right. Like I was, some of these games have been close, and then we've got about a month of just kind of the Cowboys getting their butt kicked. So it's just kind of nice to have a game where we're not just killing them and trying to figure everything out. Like there's always time for that. Just kind of a relaxing edition of Fourth Quarter Live. So thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, man. I was gone on Thanksgiving, so I couldn't really chime in with you fellas. And then
I actually noticed that, Jeff. I'm being totally honest. At the end of it, I was like, man, what did we do to piss Jeff off? He didn't join us this week.
No, bro, it is totally not you guys, man. We were in a nice cabin in New Mexico, and then last week, frankly, I turned it off after the first drive of the third quarter. I couldn't do it, man. It was just an absolute abortion, if you will. But the one thing I wanted to mention, and I know Ben is all about this dude, and I am too. Jordan freaking Lewis, man. Love that dude.
Jordan Lewis is great, and he's maybe your best pure cover guy. I think the size would prevent him from saying maybe he's your best cornerback, but he's probably your best pure cover guy. And like all the discussion about him playing, it should have been Anthony Brown and Cheeto is what should have been the discussion. And they didn't make a move on that quick enough. And I think they're knowing that now. So it's good to know that Jordan Lewis is going to be your slot cornerback next year, and you run it back with him. I will see what happens with Byron. I do expect them to address cornerback early in the draft, first or second round. And it's a pretty deep cornerback draft, already kind of getting a jump on that. So I do think they'll be able to get some help, and we'll see if they sign Byron or franchise Byron. But yeah, Jordan Lewis is huge. He makes such a difference. We've seen that. Real quick, Jared, are they confirming touchdown in Atlanta? You're ahead of me there.
Let's see here. Hold on. They are saying it was incomplete.
So there's 4 seconds left in that game.
Yep.
So the ball hit the ground. So I don't disagree with the call. The ball hit the ground, and he definitely used the ground to help control that ball. So there's 4 seconds left in that game. That's how you know it's been a good Cowboy Sunday, when you're really just more focused on a game that doesn't even pertain to their playoff chances. 23-22, 4 seconds left in that game. Our game's at 44-15. Should I know that?
Yeah, something like that. KT, if you'll pardon me, I do have to ask Jared. I know it's kind of a different subject and all, but given his area of expertise, what do you think about Kluber, man?
Well, I'd like to make sure that everyone knows my area of expertise is whipped cream products, but I think it's a big move. Oh my gosh, hold on. I think Julio Jones is stopped at like the 1-inch line to end the game. Holy smokes. I think it's a great move, Jeff. It's low risk. They didn't give up a whole lot. At the end of the day, Emmanuel Clase can be it can end up being a really good reliever, but relievers are it's easiest to rebuild a bullpen than it is any other part of your team. So if as an organization you're crippled by giving up on a really good reliever, then that's shame on you. You've got plenty of time to be able to fill those holes. They're more good relievers than they are at other roles. Delino might not have even made the team out of camp. If he did, he'd make it as a 4th outfielder. So it's low risk if Kluber sucks, and hey, it could happen. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that he's going to be amazing, but let's say he does suck. You didn't really give up a whole lot of assets. The thing that excites me the most about it, Jeff, 2 things. One, not only is their rotation really, really good going into camp, or has the chance to be, but their depth is really good because you know that they're going to use more than just 5 starters. It's going to go 6, 7, 8, 9 deep, and they're better positioned from a depth standpoint. Julio Jones might have actually crossed the plane. We'll give you an update in a second. The other thing too,
that's a touchdown.
Yeah. The other thing is I don't think they're done. I think that this is an indication that they got more moves coming. I don't think they'd make this move if they were just going to take their foot off the pedal. So I don't know what it means or what the next move might be, but I think they're going to remain aggressive, and I think it's going to be a fun offseason still to come for the Rangers.
To me, that is
I appreciate it, guys.
Yep. Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you very much, man. And we'll see hopefully next week for Cowboys Eagles.
Yes.
For the division.
Heck yeah.
Welcome, man.
Y'all have a good night.
Care.
You too, Jeff.
Jared, we need an update from San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the
You're ahead of me. I just watched the replay, and it is an obvious touchdown to me.
Yeah. I think
So-
as Ward hits him low and Julio Jones is back, bends backwards, he advances the ball. The ball was already almost across the play, and this has to be a touchdown.
You're going to have the official ruling. God, what an ending. And that's made up for the fact that there's a minute left in the Cowboys game, and the Cowboys lead 44-15.
So, holy smokes, KT. Are we looking at a possible Green Bay Packers first seed?
Well, so the Packers lost the tiebreaker to the 49ers.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The 49ers murdered them on national TV. Now, hold on here. I'm still trying to get this official. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing finish. I'm telling you, I mean, you saw it too. Julio Jones, the ball is crossing the plane of the end zone, and his feet are down. And his feet are at the 2. Kyle Shanahan looks pissed. They did reverse it. It's a touchdown, Falcons, and that is the ball game. So the Falcons have made the 49ers drop to 11-3. Pulling up the NFL playoff picture, Jared, that makes the Seahawks are 11-3. The Packers are 11-3. The 49ers are 11-3. The Saints are 10-3, and they play the Colts tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Next Saturday, you're going to get 49ers and Rams, which we'll see. I mean, the Rams may pack it in after this ass kicking, although they just scored a touchdown to make it 44-21. Jared Goff hit a touchdown pass to is that Cup or Higbee? Yeah, it's Cooper Kupp. So that just opened up the entire NFC just like that.
Yeah.
There's actually 2 seconds left in the game, so they will interesting that they didn't even try to go for 2. They just took a knee. So 2 seconds. So now the 49ers have to run the kickback. Otherwise, they're 11-3. Now, I believe the 49ers, because they beat the Saints last week, would continue to have the 1 seed, correct?
I believe so.
Did the 49ers beat the Seahawks both times they played? Sorry, we're doing playoff tiebreaker stuff.
Didn't the Seahawks beat the 49ers the second time?
Oh, Jared, they play in Week 17. That game is going to get
the first time then, yeah.
49ers Seahawks is going to get flexed on Week 17, I bet.
Hey,
assuming
random housekeeping, Tiz, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
If the Vikings beat the Packers next week, the Packers are still in the driver's seat because of the divisional or the division record.
Well, the Packers have clinched a playoff spot today because of this Rams win. So the Packers are in.
Right, but I'm saying even if the Vikings beat the Packers next week, the Packers still are in the driver's seat for the NFC North because they'll have a 1-game better divisional record. They'd split the season series, and then the next tiebreaker's in division.
That gets tough after that. I'm not sure, man.
I think it goes division, common opponents, and then conference. So I think the Packers, as long as they win Week 17, they win the division.
Even if they lose to the Vikings?
Yeah, because
the Vikings beat the Chargers today, and the Packers lost to the Chargers.
But the Vikings have 2 losses in division. The Packers have not lost in division.
Okay. So you'd have to win that Lions game then.
Yeah.
Okay, so couple questions from the comment box. It's 44-21. Shelby says, do you think the Ravens are this year's Chiefs? I did, in a way, I kind of do, because I do think if there's any team that can beat the Ravens, I think it's the Patriots. Because I just don't know how Belichick is going to let Lamar Jackson do that to him twice. So I think that's very interesting. That could be a lot of fun. Do the Eagles get anyone back for next week from Tommy? Well, Lane Johnson's out. Greg Ward had a big day for them offensively. But yeah, they're very much, hurting. I mean, that's a very hurt team. The Cowboys are way more healthy than the Eagles are. I think the big factor of that game is just the fact that it's in Philadelphia. But I mean, the Cowboys are a better team than the Eagles, and That's very clear to see, and it's been very clear for the last month, even through this 3-game losing streak. Because every time you'd watch the Cowboys go get killed, you'd go watch and see what the Eagles were doing, and you'd go, "Oh my God, that's bad." Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I don't have anything. I'm out of.
Tommy asked a Rangers question. He wants to know if Leody Taveras gets a chance to play center field next year, and I just thought it was very important in the middle of this playoff conversation to remind fans that Leody Taveras is still an option for center field, but not probably not to open the season. I don't think Leody Taveras will be an option out of camp, but I do think there's a possibility we see him in Arlington at some point in 2020. Back to your regularly scheduled football programming.
Yeah, he doesn't quite hit enough to stick in the major leagues right now, but his defensive value could be enough to be a guy that might, maybe you're in it at the end of the year. Maybe that's a helpful piece. Quickly, let's just do a quick Rangers lightning round while we're here, because since they did make a trade today for Indians pitcher Corey Kluber. Danny Santana is your center fielder. Would that be kind of Solak getting other reps out in center field, possibly? Like if you just needed it for, basically what I'm saying in a 162 game season, I want Danny Santana being my center fielder 120 games. You know what I'm saying?
I think that, I think there's a possibility that Nick Solak starts the year in AAA. Unless they want to, I don't know that they want to make him a utility player. Like it might have a very Willie Calhoun feel to it, where there just wasn't space right out of camp. And so Solak starts in AAA despite having a great AAA season last year. And then eventually when there's an injury, which is inevitable, he comes up. I don't know that I don't know that they consider Solak as a legitimate everyday center field option because of his arm. But if it's like you framed as a backup center fielder who gets 40 or so starts, that's possible. Yeah. I think third base is still an option. Although I just get the sense the Rangers are not only looking to fill that spot, but looking to fill it in a big way. So I know this is lightning round, so I'll wrap it up. But I do think that I think that Solak could be in that role. I think it just depends on, and I don't know the answer to this because they're not going to be forthcoming on this right now, whether they want Nick Solak to be a utility player. They'd rather him stay in the minors and get everyday reps at a particular position.
Now, I want to say this real quick, back to the Cowboys. This means next week is for the division. The Week 17 game is meaningless for the Cowboys no matter what at this point because the Rams are now out of it. The Cowboys will play for the division. If the Cowboys lose and the Eagles win, though, I believe the Cowboys could get in via tiebreaker if the Eagles lost in Week 17 and the Cowboys won. So, and given that the Eagles lost to the to the Dolphins, I think that's all possible. So I think that is where we're at right now. Now, I'm not 100% sure on that last part. I just saw – and that's where if you win, if you lose that game in Philadelphia, then I think Week 17 will matter. But in as the 4, you would be hosting the 5. The 5 right now – it's an 11-3 Seahawks team, although that's going to change. I guess, again, the Seahawks beat the 49ers. So right now, the Seahawks are up there. Now, the Seahawks and Saints played this year. They have not. So, God, this is so wild. Hold on, man. Hold on, everyone. I'm doing some work here. I'm trying to see if the Seahawks and Saints have played.
You do that work, baby.
No. Seahawks and Saints have not. No, Saints and Seahawks did play. So 33-27. So this is where everything changes. Because the Seahawks now are the division leader in the NFC West, the Saints beat the Seahawks. So if the Saints beat the Colts tomorrow night, the Saints are the 1. The Seahawks would now – well, are the Packers the 1 now?
Yeah, they very well could be.
Because I don't know what the Packers-Saints tiebreaker is. They have not played each other.
So that would be
so 49ers are now the 5.
Okay. So the Packers-Saints tiebreaker would be I always get these confused when you're
me too.
for seeding versus. One second. Okay. So if it's just two clubs, because it does change, I believe it is head-to-head, then best one loss in games in conference. So it goes conference games, then common games, and then strength of victory.
So conference and then common. Okay, I'm looking this up right now. Conference games for the Packers 8-2, Saints 8-3.
All right, so they got a game in hand.
Yeah, Cowboys have half a game. I mean, Packers have half a game there. But the Seahawks beat the Saints. So the Seahawks are the one right now, right? The Seahawks are 8-2 in the conference. So now you have to go to common opponents between Packers Seahawks to find out who the one is right now.
Right.
That sounds like a real beating, but I think I have to find out.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we'll do it. I'm pulling up I've got the Seahawks pulled up. The Seahawks have played the Bengals. Packers are not playing the Steelers. No. Packers not play the Saints. Did the Packers play the Cardinals? No. Rams. Did the Packers play the Rams?
No.
Browns. Packers did not play. Packers did not play the Falcons. They did not play the Ravens. Packers did not play the Bucks. Packers did play the 49ers. Seahawks would be 1-0 there. But the Packers beat the Vikings. So did the Seahawks. So the Seahawks are 2-0 against common opponents. And they beat the Eagles. So, yeah, looking at it, the Seahawks are your 1 seed. The Packers are your 2 seed right now. God, the Seahawks are your 1. The Packers are the 2. The Saints are the 3. The Cowboys with a win are your 4. The 49ers are your 5. The Vikings are the 6. Now, Packers-Vikings could flip-flop based on what happens next Monday night. Saturday, you get 49ers-Rams. The Rams are out of it. Will they quit? Will they try to go beat the 49ers? That's an interesting development. The Seahawks get the Cardinals, so they're probably going to walk in and high step to the end zone right here. And it looks like the Saints, I would imagine, probably have the Falcons or someone like that in Week 17. I don't have it pulled up, but we'll see. Well, the point of it is the NFC's pretty wacko right now.
Yeah.
Pretty wacko. I think it's a good. I mean, the win is a huge development for the Cowboys, but playing San Francisco, I would much rather play Seattle than San Francisco personally. That's how I feel. So hey, next week Saints and Titans. So Saints have Colts, Titans, Panthers. That's not an easy ending. So
nope. Can I just ask you why you just? I mean, it's probably a stupid question, but you would rather Seattle over San Francisco because you just think Seattle has more weaknesses that can be exposed, despite the fact that they clearly have the better quarterback.
And they have a knack for playing in a conservative fashion.
Yeah, they do like to run it.
They like to run it. They like to get ahead and play. You know, kind of similar style the Cowboys used to like to play. I don't know if the Cowboys still, are all about getting Zeke 30 touches a game or whatever. And they're really not relying on that anymore. Just it's a helper. I find the Seahawks to be more beatable than the 49ers. I think the 49ers, this is just a classic case of not taking an opponent seriously. So there it is. The NFC playoff picture is nuts. And the Cowboys dunked on the Rams today. And now they will take on the Eagles next Sunday. That's a 3:25 game. That's not going to get flexed. I think the next week's I think they got a good one on Sunday night next week, if I recall. I think the Sunday night game next week is I'm pulling it up right now so we don't lose it. Oh, Kansas City, Chicago. Fox is not going to let Cowboys, Eagles for the division get out of their block. So you're not going to see the Cowboys get moved. They will stay. I bet there's no flexing happening. I bet you have to live with Kansas City, Chicago next Sunday night. So it always gets wilder on Christmas time, man. But this is pretty insane right here. Maybe Tennessee, New Orleans gets flexed. That's a Fox noon game. Maybe that game gets flexed to the night game because Chicago's out now too. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, the NFC playoff picture is done in terms of the teams who are getting in. Because I don't think. I mean, I guess. Well, the Vikings are 10-4. The Rams are 8-6. I guess a 10-6 Vikings team and 8-6. No, they couldn't because the Vikings have it. So there it is. It's all right in front of you. You want to go make the playoffs, man. You absolutely do. Next week, Cowboys and Eagles, and we'll be right here on Fourth Quarter Live. FanCred. Jared, what are your closing comments?
Sports 55.
55. 1, 2.5, 7, 14 team.
14. Hey, I hope my kid. I don't have
21?
kids yet. When I have kids, I hope when they ask him like what jersey number he wants, like for like 4-year-old soccer, he says 14 team.
I hope he says 27 half. All right, Jared. Cheers to the Cowboys. They will play the Eagles next Sunday, 3:25. Thank you to MyBookie.ag as Jared's trying to swallow his phone right now. MyBookie.ag. The promo code is FanCred where they will double your deposit. And from there, we will move on to another December week and things like that. So FanCred action. Download the app. Join us next Sunday for the NFC East title game. It's going to be wild.
Should be lots of fun. I can't wait. Hey, it's also KT.
Yep.
Because I know you celebrate this. Did you know that next Sunday is the first night of
I don't celebrate Hanukkah, but
Hanukkah, like menorah.
I celebrate the people that celebrate Hanukkah, though.
I think you should do next week's fourth quarter chat in Adam Sandler voice the whole time.
So I've always said, this is weird. No, this is not the place to ask it. I'll ask you in private. I got a question now.
I'll talk to you this week.
All right. See you guys. Go Cowboys next week. See
Love
you.
you.
Bye.